So after 3 weeks of market chaos, soaring interest rates and plummeting poll ratings, her much vaunted growth strategy has no friends, including those sitting around the cabinet table. So, Jake, that being the case, what is the point of her prime ministership? I mean, how could she remain credible when she won the party leadership on an agenda of radical economic reform, which she's now ditched? She mocked the warnings of her rival Rishi Sunak on what would happen in the market and to mortgages under her scenario. Sunak has now been proven correct. How can this woman retain any credibility with her peer group?
No, she can't. She can't. And that's why her premiership has to conclude, because, I mean, it was, again, the mini budget. I mean, borrowing more money to fund tax cuts. And she's lost the narrative, quite frankly. She's lost the narrative. They never communicated what the growth plan, why it would be good. And they have spooked the markets. They've spooked the money men and women out there. And see, she's allowed also the case of, okay, increasing mortgage rates. She's allowed that to be pinned on her government, which, if you were a half-decent politician, you go, well, hang on a minute, this isn't my fault. This was a failure of the central bank. And this is out of control spending, stimulus packages during the pandemic. Therefore, monetary policy has to tighten, and therefore the interest rates are going up. I mean, that's not as a result of Liz Truss, but she's allowed that to now filter through the narrative. So she is under attack on all fronts. She's now again thrown Kwarteng under the bus, which is no good. So now Jeremy Hunt has been installed, and and now a very commanding figure. I mean, this was a bloke who basically his ministerial career, everyone thought his ministerial career was done after he ran for the leadership against Boris Johnson. For the last 3 years, hasn't been cited, was really frozen out of the government. Now, he's been resurrected.
Because he's a Sunak supporter.
That's right, yeah, and seen as a safe pair of hands as well.
So you were moving amongst all of these people, the Conservative Party people, the Downing Street heavyweights. Is the mood, and you've only been left a couple of days, is the mood in the Conservative Party, Downing Street and the electorate that Liz Truss has lost all authority?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
So if the answer is yes, so if the Parliamentary Party feels this way, what do you think will happen next? I mean, you mentioned Christmas. Surely she can't get to Christmas.
No, I don't think so. And there's now talk. They are putting a lot of pressure on the 1922 committee, this Sir Graham Brady, who's the chairman of that committee, to basically waive the rules of not allowing a leadership contest so soon. It's usually there's usually 12 months after a new leader's installed. They're immune from a challenge. They're putting pressure on him to waive that rule. I see William Hague came out yesterday and said that membership should not be granted a vote anymore, which is huge. So they basically want to change the rules now to install a leader, and they don't want to go to so grassroots Conservatives are going to be very angry about this. So they basically, the unity candidate here, I would say, is, my money would be on the Defence Secretary, Ben Wallace. He's seen as a very unifying figure. They are talking about this Sunak.
He wouldn't win an oil painting competition.
No, he wouldn't. No, and also he's never been tested on domestic issues.
No, there was talk at the end of last week, which I mentioned on the program here, about a Sunak Mordaunt ticket. They didn't seem to know whether it would be Mordaunt for Prime Minister or Sunak for Chancellor. What, as you were leaving there, was there any mood about that having any appeal?
Lots of talk about that. I mean, Penny Mordaunt should be the next one sacked.
Yes.
She's undermining the Prime Minister all the time, comes out, gives these sound bites, and then retreats, and then writes an op-ed the next day and goes, oh, no, but we've all got to support Liz Truss. That's what we need for Britain. I mean, she's overly ambitious, basically the Josh Frydenberg of the UK. And and the Sunak thing, he's still a Judas figure over there.
Because of what he did to Boris.
Correct. Backstab. And look, they should never have ousted Boris Johnson. Never. And they all know that now. But Boris apparently loves this new speaking gig. He was, I think...
$150,000
to speak in America, and he loves it. And it would be too soon to bring him back too. But So, and then you've got a lot of Boris's rusted-on supporters within the party would not accept Rishi Sunak as leader. So now it is.
Yes, I mean, one of the